In the 1998 film, The Man Who Whispered to Horses, the script of which is based on the novel Horse Whisperer, written by Nichola Evans 3 years earlier, its protagonist Robert Redford plays the role of Tom Booker. Tom is a famous whisperer of horses, who became the last hope of a mother, Kristen Scott Thomas, who traveled to Montana from New York to try to get her daughter, a very young Scarlett Johansson, and her horse Pilgrim out of the mental disorder that they have left after suffering a serious accident. After seeing the film, the viewers always have an unsolved question. Do horse whisperers really exist, or is it a simple superstition? How can a human being possess the ability to whisper to horses, otherwise known as equines? We will try to answer these questions on today's episode, Horse Whispering. Horse whisperers, fact or superstition? For people living in rural Britain, whisperers exist. These are people who have inherited and developed special skills when it comes to taming horses, a talent for which many were tried in the past on charges of witchcraft and even sentenced to die at the stake. Horse whisperers are gaining popularity because they have developed the special ability to break horses. So much so that Queen Victoria and Elizabeth II requested the help of whisperers to solve the problems of their horses. How long does it take to master horse whispering? The skill is not the usual skill that a novice can master overnight. It takes so much time and practice of really observing and conversing with a horse before your brain can pick up the skill of horse whispering. The whole concept of learning horse whispering involves training with calmness and kindness instead of domination. You have to be willing to utilize specific body language when giving out commands to a horse. Then, you should back it up by observing and listening for the accurate interpretation of the horse's behavior. The horse whispering technique is around 200 years old, and in the 1980s, it was integrated into a package of training methods known as natural horsemanship. Who pioneered the art of horse whispering? In the 18th century, the Irish horse trainer Daniel Sullivan kick-started the practice of horse whispering in Mallow, County Cork, Ireland. In the olden days, horses were very much affected by the traditional horse training techniques. Oftentimes, they were aggressively whipped, blindfolded, and restrained with the sole aim of dominating the creature with fear. These cruel methods led the horses to become victims of trauma and extreme abuse. Due to the maltreatment of the horses, Sullivan came up with the idea of whispering to horses. Sullivan's idea was targeted towards rehabilitating mistreated horses. Although he was secretive about his methods, people noticed how he would stand face to face with the horse and speak to it in a way that it understands his language. His mysterious techniques caused critically traumatized horses to become gentle. As time progressed, his strange methods came to the limelight in the early 19th century. There were rumors that his methods were enhanced from secrets he had learned from a member of the traveling community. Although Daniel Sullivan pioneered horse whispering, little was known about his own life. After Sullivan's death in 1810, horse whispering would have followed him to his grave, if not for the determination of a few horse trainers to keep it alive. The culture of the 19th century trainers were spread through their writings, or by other horse whisperers who had learned directly from them. Can horses communicate with us? Until now, we believed that this was not possible. However, new research carried out by scientists, veterinarians, zoo technicians, and experts in animal behavior from the Norwegian Institute of Bioeconomy Research and Norwegian Veterinary Institute, among others, has proven how a group of equines can become capable of learning and using successfully certain symbols. To achieve this, the Norwegian specialists selected a total of 23 horses of different breeds and instructed them to observe a table with 3 different symbols. The first symbolized the horse covered with a blanket. The second, the horse without the blanket, and the last scheme, without any change. Horses could choose any of the 3 symbols by approaching them and touching them with their hooves. After 14 days of instruction, the mammals were able to learn to use and recognize what each scheme presented in the table meant. The researchers conducted the experiment by testing in different climatic conditions, and it was like this. In cold, humid, and windy weather, the horses that did not have the blanket touched the pattern that did have it, and those that were wearing it made contact with the symbol of no changes. If the environment was sunny, the equines would touch with their hooves the outline of the horse without a blanket, or that of without changes when they were not wearing it. The result of the research shows that horses have the ability to understand the effects of their choices, which shows a first step to further research on the means or forms of communication between equines and humans. How do you talk to a horse? Here are the most fascinating tricks of horse whisperers. Horse whispering is a very delicate task. since through the tone of voice, gestures, and caresses, the trainers manage to create a respectful relationship with the horse, so that it is easier for him to follow the instructions. Let's take a look at the amazing tricks of horse whisperers. Caress. Horse trainers have a technique that does not fail. The horse is a sensitive animal that possesses a learning capacity that is perhaps much more advanced than many believe. It is important to establish a relationship of affection between the equine and the person who will tame it, and this is achieved little by little through the demonstration of affection by stroking the horse as a strategy to gain its trust. Use of words and short phrases. Horse whisperers obviously do not use complex phrases or dialogue to carry out the commands they will give to the horses. They are able to identify short and very specific phrases such as stop, walk, stand up, etc. Perhaps the three most important that are introduced are walk, jog, or stop, since they are the three most repetitive commands that can be made. To do this, they use a louder tone of voice, not as a scolding or threat, but as a way of transmitting a sense of authority to the horse. Warmup. Horses tend to prefer open spaces where they have the freedom to trot, walk, and rest at ease. However, before carrying out any activity, it is necessary for horse whisperers to perform warm-up exercises prior to exercise to avoid any injury that could put the animal's safety at risk. The whisperers gradually get to know the horse personally, so they will understand when it shows signs of fatigue or not wanting to cooperate with the instructions. You should not be pressured to avoid aggression or rejection that puts people in the immediate area of risk. Prepare him for tasks, not just with words, but with actions. For example, whisperers have a habit of demonstrating the activities to be performed. If what he is going to do is mount the horse, the trainer will make some jumps that resemble said action. This way, you will not take the horse by surprise or cause stress that causes it to run wild or gallop aimlessly. It is necessary to carry out repetitive actions in order for the animal to gradually become familiar with the orders that will be given. Learn to listen. While they don't speak, horses have specific ways of communicating. Sometimes they are taught to give the paw or raise both legs to communicate certain things, such as fatigue or discomfort. Therein lies the talent and task of the whisperers, since the daily coexistence with the horses will gradually cause them to know the horses in all their facets and establish a relationship of mutual respect and trust. Your horse speaks to you through his body language. Your horse cannot speak, but he can express himself very well through his body language. It is important to pay attention to its behavior and all those details that denote what the animal is feeling: affection, joy, sadness, pain. By knowing him a little more and sharing with him, it will be very easy to understand what he wants to express. We will be showing you some of the most curious signs expressed by these magnificent and noble animals. A. Tail. The tail is one of the most important body aspects of the horse, and with it, they can also express their emotions. In this aspect, when the tail is raised, it means that the animal is excited and happy. On the other hand, if the tail is between the legs, it is synonymous with being scared. If he shakes his tail very hard, it means he is upset. B. Ears. The ears are also key to determining the feeling of the horses. If the ears are completely relaxed, it means that the equine is comfortable with the presence of people in the place. On the other hand, if they are hanging to the sides of its head, it means that they are bored. Special care should be taken when the ears are fully flattened back, as they indicate resistance. C. Head. If the equine is shown with the head slightly down, it means that it is very comfortable and relaxed. When the head is fully upturned, it may mean that it is tense and expectant. Of course, in the latter case, it depends on the situation, as it can also be synonymous with the fact that the animal is excited to see someone very important. D. Mouth. Like humans, horses also display their emotions through their facial expressions. In the case of the mouth, if it is retracted or tight, it means that the equine feels threatened and is waiting. If, on the contrary, the lips are sagging, it symbolizes relaxation and comfort. E. Body. The body in general transmits different messages. When the horse is trembling, it means that it is afraid or that it does not feel very well. If the horse is very stiff, it means that it is stressed or very nervous. In case the animal is trying to touch a person with its muzzle gently, it symbolizes that it is playful and feels comfortable at that moment. Horses express themselves through their bodies. It is important to know them and pay attention to the small details to decipher what they are feeling at different times. The truth is that these magnificent animals respond very well to the affectionate treatment of humans. What other signals does your horse give you? We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell-like notification so you'll be the first to get our latest video updates. Till we meet again. Bye for now.